All right, howdy. So this is a Weber 6H50 that I got a little over a week ago, and spent most of the last several days trying to get it running because when I got it, it would not amplify guitar tone, and I fixed a lot of stuff on it. I fixed the HT tube fuse holder was broken. I fixed it. Put a new set of tubes in it. It actually came with none. And I've basically spent the rest of the time since then finding and fixing bad solder joints. And now it runs. It's actually pretty quiet in the room, especially compared to the Sound Cities that I have that are notoriously noisy. And not at all built like the Sound Cities. I haven't looked inside a lot of real actual Hiwatts, but I gather they're built more like the Sound Cities with turret strips, and they just go strip to strip like the Concorde, like the Sound Cities do. This one is built actually more like kind of like an older Marshall, but not really, in that it's got a tag board with components on it like Fender or Marshall would have from the 60s or 70s into the 80s. And on the other hand, it's also got preamp tubes are all mounted up front near where the controls are, which I don't know what the point of that is, except to make things more difficult to work on. So the wires all kind of run around everywhere inside, and this was a kit. It's a 6H50, and obviously not built by a Weber Tech, which is one of the options. Same as with Seriatone. So it's dressed up like a Hiwatt, and I'm going to actually replace the Hiwatt badge with the MyWatt one that I used on a previous amp that I had. It's a little bit bigger, but I think it'll work fine. I don't want to advertise this as a Hiwatt when it's not. Anyway, it's got some interesting features to it. I haven't been able to find a Hiwatt that has exactly the same kind of layout to it. I don't know if you can see when this light helps a little bit because it's dark in here, but it has, aside from the mains and standby switches, it has presence, and then it has master volumes both for the post amp and pre-amp. So there's a master volume for the power amp and a master volume for the whole preamp together. Then you've got treble, middle, bass, and then you've got a volume for each input. So there is a bright and a normal input, and they sound very different. I think I like the normal better. It might just be the way this amp is voiced. I'm probably gonna just use the normal channel, and maybe if I have a reason to take this amp back apart again, I'll mess with revoicing it. But aside from that, I will probably just use it as is. It is set right now fairly, I think kind of Hiwatt-y sounding. It is a 50 watter, 2 EL34s, 4 12AX7s, and a GZ34 rectifier. That is another difference between this and a Hiwatt. Hiwatts, as far as I know, all have solid state rectifiers, like the Sound Cities do. This one has a GZ34 as an option, and I think it came originally with a copper cap, a Weber copper cap that you could use, and you had to actually do some additional wiring to run the GZ34. This does not seem particularly saggy, however, so I don't know. The one, I guess, benefit that Weber claims on the Hiwatt is that the amp will draw less current and run cooler without the tube rectifier. So I've got one on order. I'll try it when it gets here, but just as an example of some tones on it. You can turn the channel volumes way up and the preamp volume down to keep the overall volume down, and you get a lot of gain. And then of course it will get really loud too. That's the bright channel. Normal. Let me turn that one also up. So to turn that one up, it really, really is woofy. So let me, oh, someone had the bass all the way up. The channel volume up, it seems like it really is really too woofy in the normal channel, and the bright is a better sounding one. Louder than I even want to think about, but I'll turn it up a little less than half just to give you an idea. I'm betting at that volume the normal channel is pretty much unusable. To say that it has a bark to it would be a massive understatement. As you would probably expect from an amp like this. They're kind of all cut the same way Marshall or Fender are. But it's an interesting sounding amp. It's definitely a flavor that I don't have in any other amplifier. The Sound Cities are pretty much clean until they die. And the little Vox over here, you know, sounds like an AC30, only quieter. The Straub up there is JTM 45-ish with KT66s in it. Sort of similar, actually, to this one. Not nearly as much punch, though. One thing about this amp is that the transformers on it are absolutely massive. The power transformer probably is 10 pounds on its own, and the output transformer, even though it's only a 50 watt, not much smaller. You know, I'm wondering, I might try KT66s in it, because apparently it can be set up either way. So that might be interesting to do. It does have, I don't have a way to easily show the back end of it, but it does have One of Weber's nicer features is that it has individually adjustable bias pots, kind of like the Sound Cities do, which is actually a really handy feature on them because you didn't have to worry about whether you had matched tubes or not. You could adjust each one, and that you can really dial out a lot of the hum and the noise that way. Whereas with even a matched set of tubes and a single bias control, you're making a compromise between the two because they're never quite the same. And this one you can actually dial in so that each tube is the happiest. And it also has another weird feature on the back that is not on the plan. There is a spot back there marked bias test that is supposed to be a stereo or TRS jack that will go out to a multimeter for you to read the bias on it. And that has been replaced by what appears to be a balance pot for the heaters, again to try to cut out hum. And like I said, for a British amp, of a presumably kind of 70s-ish design, it is pretty quiet on its own. So anyway, it's a cool sounding amp. I got it cheap, but put a week of work into it, and of course I had to buy a set of tubes, which was $100 by itself. So I'll keep it around for a while. I'm not sure how responsible it would be to resell this amp given what I know about its past, but we'll see. But for now, I'm enjoying it. Thanks.